Welcome to RJL Systems. This webinar is designed for lifestyle educators and practitioners. Please note, the content of this live doc is for informational purposes only. BIA technology is not intended to prevent, cure, diagnose, or treat any particular disease state. BIA technology does not replace the educated judgment of a licensed healthcare professional. Our objectives today include a brief history of body composition assessment in general, bioelectrical impedance analysis, scientific foundations, types of BIA, and the utilization of RJL, BIA, and report highlights. This is the staff of RJL Systems. When you call for customer service or technological questions, you will be speaking with one of our U.S.-based staff members, some of whom have been here for over 20 years. The founder and CEO, Rudolf J. Lidke, is also credited as being the father of the utilization of BIA technology for modern body composition. Here is our office in Michigan, where we've been located for over 35 years. The indications for use by the FDA include the calculation and historical tracking of these measures, listed here for your reference. BC is intended only for use on normally healthy adults and adolescents aged 3 to 94. There are no known contraindications. Our software provides body composition estimates based on the electrical characteristics measured by the analyzer. The device should not be used on subjects with implanted electronic devices, such as pacemakers or implantable cardioverter defibrillators. Evidence-based medicine requires evidence. Dr. Jeffrey Bland, known by many as the father of functional medicine and nutrigenomics, has a beautiful quote: "We can now start to see the future of healthcare and medicine more clearly. We are moving from a medicine for the average to a medicine for the individual." Also featured at the Lifestyle Summit in 2014, along with Dr. Bland, are Dr. Samantha Eagle and Dr. Allison Monette. They both gave detailed and informative presentations describing how bioelectrical impedance analysis should be integrated into the technologies of today's medical practice. Again, not just inviting technology for the sake of technology, but to carefully select the best available technology to actually increase the effectiveness of evidence-based medicine. So which components are actually changing when we see a patient's weight change? Was it the fat, the lean dry mass, the fat-free mass, intracellular water, extracellular water? You can help your patients best when you know how each component of the body is uniquely changing. To put a patient on a scale only to confirm a total weight is sort of like drawing a blood sample only to confirm that the patient has blood. We need more information. In the early days of body composition assessment, skin fold calipers were utilized. Typically done on 3 to 7 sites of the body, inter-rater reliability is an issue. There is also no total body water, intra or extracellular water, or phase angle data accessible. It requires quite a bit of staff training and is time-intensive. Many patients also report finding the procedure uncomfortable. Other body composition methods include water displacement and air displacement. Again, your patient is not given total body water, intra or extracellular water, or phase angle data, and many patients report being fearful of immersion. They are claustrophobic or feel self-conscious. Lung air volume variations can compromise the accuracy of both methodologies. Dual energy X-ray absorptiometry, or DEXA scans, require that your patient be exposed to radiation. There are limitations on most models for patients to be under 6 feet 6 inches tall and under 350 pounds. Still, with this high-end, expensive machinery, there is no TBW, ICW, ECW, or phase angle data. Although DEXA has been considered a gold standard for body composition assessment, you see here in this 2001 study that the DEXA BIA FFM correlate is 0.986. Bioelectrical Impedance Analysis. Our founder, Rudolf J. Lidke, said that biological material is conductive and constantly changing. BIA can measure the electrical conductive properties of living things and illustrate their changes over time. One of our earliest orders, in fact, came from the U.S. Navy in 1981. They wanted to measure the changes in their soldiers in the extreme conditions on Mount McKinley in Alaska, correlating results with blood and urine analysis. To date, BIA technology has been utilized in over 4,000 research studies and scientific articles. It is noteworthy that RJL Systems has never paid for any of this research. It was independently conducted by other hospitals, clinics, researchers, and the military. You will see our device in use, not only in functional medicine practices, but also in health fairs, yoga centers, physical fitness centers, and chiropractic centers of excellence. RJL BIA is also utilized in places like NASA, NOAA, the National Institutes of Health, the Centers for Disease Control, Cancer Treatment Centers of America, Harvard, Yale, and others. It is important for you to know that there are limitations to the other BIA methods which are not supine. Standing and handheld BIA methods may be less accurate due to destabilized central venous pressure. When the patient is not lying flat, the fluids of the body are unstable. Calluses on the hand and feet vary in conductivity. Temperature variations on the palms and the bottoms of the feet and moisture variations on the palms and the bottoms of the feet can also contaminate data accuracy. There are also signal path differences. This is a good time to remind you that electrodes, electrode placement, devices, and software are not interchangeable, mix and match between companies. The protocol required for BIA is standardized by each device company. RJL Quantum BIA is cleared by the FDA as a Class II medical device to assess body composition and fluid distribution. We have 510(k) clearance for our BC software, which is included in your kit for Mac and PC and optionally available for iPad. Again, we are cleared for use on healthy humans aged 3 to 94. The measurements you gain from RJL Quantum BIA are listed here for your reference. Bioelectrical impedance analysis works by sending a small electrical current which will react differently in the various compartments of the body. For example, water, fat, and lean mass will all conduct the electrical current differently. All members of your staff should conduct a proper BIA protocol. We do have a separate 10-minute short video on our website at all times available for free to make sure you and your technicians are achieving accurate data collection. In this section on BIA protocol, we will give you an example of a permission form which you can modify for your needs, recommendations that the physicians and staff must discuss together, optimal preparation, how to make notations on your report, and what a standardized BIA protocol looks like. This is the first half, or the page 1 of a sample permission form. Again, you will modify this for the needs of your office. The patient can check off each box and then sign and date the form. It indicates, for example, that they are not pregnant, do not have a pacemaker, have released liability, and have removed their cell phone from their body. This is the second half, or page 2 of the permission form. Notice in the last row of information, you're asking information about the activity, exercise, and fitness level of that patient, how many sessions per week, how many hours per session, what they do for a living, and what they do in an activity session. This will help you determine the activity level which the device software will ask for when you input the data. Remember that these terms are research terms. Most Americans will qualify for the very light activity level. This refers to their activity level averaged out over a 24-hour period. Please refer to the manual that comes on the USB thumb drive in your kit for information on activity level selection. Here are issues you will want to discuss with your staff. Joint replacements. It is okay to use the average range comparisons, but make a notation of any joint replacements or the need to do the procedure on the opposite side of the body for any reason. Limb replacements. It is not okay to use the average range comparisons with the limb replacement. Do the procedure on the opposite side of the body if necessary and make the notation. Only make qualitative comparisons over multiple visits. In other words, an N of 1 type study, comparing that patient to that patient. It is not recommended for pregnancy. It is not recommended for those with medical device implants, for example, pacemaker or defibrillator. Optimal BIA protocol preparation includes no alcohol 24 hours prior to the test, no caffeine, or exercise 4 hours prior to the test. Notate if the patient has had a sauna or Bikram yoga within 24 hours. Have the patient drink 2 glasses of water 2 hours prior to the test and empty the bladder and bowels prior to the analysis. If your patient varied from this preparation, as we commonly see in healthcare fair situations, for example, make a note on the report for the practitioner. In a standardized BIA protocol, remove the sock, stocking, shoe, jewelry, and any objects from the electrode sites. Remove any therapeutic magnets, cell phone, or other electronic devices away from the body. Standardized BIA protocol requires that the patient lie supine, flat on their back, on a flat surface. This matches the American Medical Association definition for the CPT code as well. The knees must be separated with the arms out 30 degrees from the waist, palms down. If you are working with an obese patient, or perhaps a bodybuilder, for example, consider a pillow between the knees to keep the legs separated. Notice when you apply the wires that the red wires go on the hand toward the head. Red toward the head, and the red clips go on the tops of the foot and hand. Red toward the head. Notice that the electrodes are placed on an imaginary line bisecting the ulnar head, and again placed on the first joint of the middle finger. The other electrodes are placed bisecting the medial malleolus and also at the base of the second toe. Always make sure that the 4 electrode sites were cleaned with an alcohol pad and allowed to dry. This ensures that you have removed any residue from fabric softeners, moisturizers, shampoo, lotions, suntan oil, and so on. The patient should have been lying supine position for about 3 to 5 minutes. This is about the amount of time you will need to clean the electrode sites, apply the adhesive pads, and properly attach the device clips. This time period allows the fluids of the body to stabilize. Your BIA device will give you 2 measures you will need to record: the reactance and the resistance. Once the resistance and reactance data is accurately recorded, your procedure is complete. You can remove and discard the adhesive electrodes. They are not reusable. Now you will accurately record the other pertinent patient data: height, weight, age, and gender, and name or patient ID as directed by your practitioner. Again, evidence-based medicine requires evidence. This graphic image represents the total body weight breakdown from BIA. There will be fat and fat-free mass. The fat-free mass can then be broken down into total body water and lean dry mass. The total body water can then be further broken down to extracellular water, which is the water outside the cellular space, and intracellular water. The FDA does not allow medical device manufacturers to make interpretive statements or set clinical or optimal or reference ranges. This section is only designed to help you understand the software report better. Most practitioners, for example, will tell us that they will start with the overall weight of the patient and compare that to the target weight. In this example, the patient needs to lose about 50 pounds. In other examples, you may have a patient who may have only 5 or 10 pounds to address. The equation set NHANES 3 is where most practitioners leave the setting on the software. It is the largest database. There will be other equation sets that you can choose from, for example, for research situations. The average range section is the average American. It is not necessarily clinical, optimal, or reference. The basic metabolic rate is how many calories your patient is utilizing in a 24-hour period, doing nothing, laying flat. The energy expenditure is how many calories your patient is using in a 24-hour period with the reported activity level. Note, many practitioners agree that the body normally will vary up and down about 3% of the total weight in a 24-hour period. This is due to variations in food in the stomach, bladder and bowel contents, blood volume, and so on. So for math's sake, take a typical 100-pound individual. 97 to 103 pounds would be a normal weight for that individual within a 24-hour period. Next, practitioners typically tell us that they look at the fat pounds. In this individual, it is 80 pounds, and move them toward the lower end of the average ranges. Again, these are not clinical or reference numbers. Again, just moving toward the lower end of the average range. You can also look, especially at the beginning, to the comparison of the percentage of total body weight. In this case, it's 41% where the range would be 31 to 45%. Many practitioners start looking at the percentage of total weight, and then they watch the total number of pounds change over time. Remember that BIA offers total body fat, so this is visceral fat, which is visceral adipose tissue plus the subcutaneous fat. Remember that the subcutaneous fat is what skin fold calipers are measuring. Therefore, to take a fat percentage from the calipers and compare it to the fat percentage from BIA is like comparing apples to oranges. Again, BIA is visceral fat plus subcutaneous fat. Again, in this example, this woman has a 41% body fat, and the range is 31 to 45. You can also choose to watch your patient change over time with line graphs, bar graphs, and tabular history. In this example, we see that only the yellow line, representing fat, was significantly, specifically changing, down about 95 pounds of body fat. Most practitioners tell us that when they want to manipulate fat, they look at adjusting dietary fats. Main fat sources in the diet include dairy, oils, meat, chicken, fish, nuts, seeds, avocado, coconut, and olives. Making sure that the omega-3 and 6 balance is healthy. Encouraging fiber in the diet. 40 grams plus per day for the average adult is what most practitioners are looking for. Increasing the activity levels. Strength, stamina, stretching, endurance. Again, variety is important anytime we talk about activity. Practitioners also discuss ensuring proper sleep cycle, looking at endocrine and reproductive hormone balances, liver dysfunction, and maybe social or psychological food relationship issues. Again, these are issues that practitioners tell us they will discuss when they want to manipulate the amount of fat in pounds and percentage on their patient. Here are some of the sources that practitioners tell us they utilize with their patients to help keep the cell membrane healthy with an omega-3 sufficient diet. Unfortunately, many of you know the standard American diet is typically several times higher in omega-6 than required, and that omega-3 and omega-6 compete for absorption. So many practitioners will ask the typical patient to decrease the omega-6s in the diet, like fried foods and processed foods, while ensuring sufficient omega-3 intake. In this patient example, you can see that she is at the high end of the average range for lean dry mass. Many practitioners will utilize this as a point to psychologically promote to the patient that they have a good base to start with, some psychological positive to start the journey toward the overall weight loss and encourage the maintenance of lean dry mass over time. To increase or manipulate lean dry mass, many practitioners will talk about increasing the activity level, including strength and stretching, stamina and endurance. Again, variety is very important. And we know this, starting back with the early NASA studies, where our very fit astronauts went into space, put in a zero-gravity environment where the brain and body were not signaling the necessity for muscle and bone density. The body simply started to atrophy. So we know that we need to move it or we lose it. Sometimes practitioners will also increase the amount of plant protein in the diet because they tend to be much lower in fat while still containing a nice array of amino acids. Ruling out tobacco, alcohol, and other drug use, ruling out cachexia, and ensuring proper sleep cycle for hormone balance are all other issues that practitioners tell us they will discuss. Sometimes practitioners are concerned over very fit athletes who are overtraining, not allowing sufficient recovery time, or not consuming sufficient quality calories. These types of situations can even cause athletes to show a loss of lean dry mass over time. We all know how important water is to the function of the human body. On this sample report, the individual has 84 pounds of total body water. The average range is between 62 and 86 pounds. Many practitioners want the patient to be mid-range total body water, not lower or higher end, for reasons of concerns of either dehydration or overhydration. Further, you want to look to the far right column of your percent of total body water. Generally, practitioners tell us they like to see ICW closer to 60% of TBW, with ECW closer to 40%, indicating patients may want to make significant changes if their ICW-ECW looks closer to 50-50, as we see here. The idea of having proper hydration at the intracellular water level is to have thick, plump, healthy grape-like cells instead of dehydrated raisin-like cells. So practitioners tell us that when they are looking to increase the intracellular water, they want to ensure proper water intake, decreasing the alcohol and caffeine intake, looking at salt balance, electrolytes, B vitamins, again, ensuring that healthy cell membrane with the omega-3 to 6 balance, ruling out issues related to toxicity, undiagnosed or untreated allergies, kidney issues, inflammatory processes, and chronic stress. Here is a cute cartoon by an unknown artist. It is a cell on an island surrounded by water, but without electrolytes, it cannot get sufficient intracellular hydration. High electrolyte foods include celery, coconut water, cucumber, berries, grapes, oranges, and bananas. You can also look for high-quality electrolyte formulas in the marketplace. RJL BIA will also provide you the BMI, as many insurance companies require this number. Remember, however, that BMI is nothing more than height over weight, and you are using BIA to get more information about the composition of the body. Generally speaking, patients like to be on the lower end of BMI, unless, for example, they're a bodybuilder. Practitioners also tell us they typically like to see their patients at the higher end of the phase angle range. Phase angle in humans will typically range between 3 and 9. We will refer you to other individuals for further education on phase angle, such as Dr. Robert Rakowski and Dr. Ryan Bentley. In Dr. Rakowski's work, he notes that optimal reference values will decrease in men and women over the aging lifespan. Clinical applications of phase angle have not been evaluated by the FDA. Many practitioners will report making referrals for further assessment and diagnosis for phase angles under 4 or so, or when they see a trending decrease. Practitioners tell us that they see phase angles of about 4 in women in menopause and during a significant body fat loss phase. In this study, we see that phase angle is a useful screening tool at hospital admission, even without knowing the body weight or height. Practitioners specifically targeting the fat loss in order to help achieve lower disease risks, like elevated cholesterol, blood pressure, triglycerides, gynecological conditions, arthritis, and cardiovascular risk. They also try at the same time to increase quality of life and balance. In your BC software, which come included in your kit for Mac and PC, remember iPad is optionally available, you'll notice that you have several report options. You can override the target weight, for example, make notations in the top part of the report for recent exercise or surgery, medication changes, and so on. You can also input measurements, circumference, hemoglobin A1C, and other labs like the lipid panel and blood pressure. You can store, email, or print your reports, and you determine the length of the report you would like to print. You can select tables, graphs, the food and fitness sections, the average ranges, tabular format, and so on. And the equation set default of NHANES 3 can also be overridden. Under the population equation set options, most practitioners tell us that they leave it on NHANES 3 for almost their entire practice. You will notice that you have the option to switch to athletic equation, for example, for a skinny, fit, or thin individual. You can also choose the pediatric or the obese equations and so on for specific population subsets. I'd like to introduce you to the lifestyle factor upgrades in our food and fitness sections. They were designed to allow patients to see and navigate choices, helping to make food fun again. The categories will help the lifestyle medical practitioner to target and customize patient preferences and their nutritional needs. The 5 categories are higher protein, higher carbohydrate, higher fat, calcium-rich, and snacks. They are designed to allow the practitioner to easily customize food options. For example, wheat-free, dairy-free, egg-free, gluten-free, cholesterol-free, high-fiber, vegan, and vegetarian options. These options are listed at the request of practitioners like yourself to help dialogue choices with your individual patients. You'll notice we've also included a health-enhanced option on the left side of each category. In this area, you will find the higher fiber foods, plant milk substitutes for those who are dairy allergic, and gluten-free selections as well. The standard menu options are listed for patient familiarity on the right side of the page. Specific recommendations will be determined by you, the practitioner, during your patient interaction. You'll notice in each category, a bit of patient education is provided to help you in your discussion. For example, in the protein section, it talks about how all proteins get broken down first by the body into amino acids before being built into the proteins the body will actually need. On the left side, you'll notice that the health-enhanced options will be high in fiber and low in cholesterol. The standard menu options will be on the right side of the page. Another example in the higher carbohydrate food section will discuss the fact that carbohydrates are both the fibers and the sugars of the food. So some foods are high in carbohydrate because they are high in fiber. Some foods are high in carbohydrate because they are high in sugar, and some foods are high in both. Our new fitness section includes many different types of fitness to encourage a lifestyle which includes a variety of activities. Our newly redesigned fitness section has been designed to include a spectrum of lifestyle activities and exercises to help you show your patients that movement has a caloric result, and they might just need to be more active. Here's an example. This will be adjusted for each specific patient, and the caloric burn rate is calculated for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and 120 minutes. Notice you'll see different types of yoga and even lifestyle activities like vacuuming or playing with animals, all the way up to hockey and martial arts. RJL has now introduced 3 new measures with our latest software. As you see here, this allows you to see 3 new compartments of the body: bone mineral content, skeletal muscle mass, and lean soft tissue. BMC, or bone mineral content, represents the mineral deposits of the skeleton. Practitioners will tell us they typically discuss an increase in strength-building activities, sufficient intake in vegetables and leafy greens, assessing hormone balance issues, and sometimes related supplementation. SMM, or skeletal muscle mass, is the muscle required for posture and movement. Practitioners tell us that they typically discuss a wide variety of exercises, focusing upon strength-building movement, addressing hormone issues, sleep cycle, ruling out tobacco, alcohol or other drug use, and cachexia. They also may discuss lower fat, higher protein plant foods such as quinoa, beans, peas, lentils, and sprouts. LST, or lean soft tissue, includes organs, supportive and connective tissues, and skeletal muscle mass. It does not include bone or fat. Practitioners tell us that every combination of these different biomarkers should be considered in an evidence-based medical practice. There is a direct and causal relationship between several of these biomarkers. This section is designed to help you make the most of your RJL BIA. Practitioners tell us they enjoy the opportunity to recommend appropriately selected products. They like the idea that graphic and tabular images are optional, and they can choose what helps teach their patients best on an individual level. They also like being able to repeat the BIA to monitor changes with that patient's individual body composition. Consider offering BIA at a health fair. You can offer a lower cost analysis fee and just refer the potential patient to the RJL's free online BIA calculator. You could print the report for them. You could offer an introductory discount for new patients that come to you from the fair. Consider BIA days at your office. You could offer free BIAs for a day, half-price BIAs, 2 for 1, or bring a friend, for example. Nationally, practitioners tell us that they are charging between $30 and $125 per BIA test. Consider the difference that could make in your practice when the average BIA technician can analyze 32 individuals in an average 8-hour day. There are other gains in having RJL BIA integrated into your office. It can help mitigate patient lifestyle reporting errors, look at protocol development and evaluation of your own strategies, and strategically shift individual patient protocols whenever needed. There are several other training resources available for you. At YouTube, on our YouTube channel, RJL Systems 2010, on our website, rjlsystems.com, there is training provided on the USB film drive that comes with your kit for Mac and PC. And we do pride ourselves on offering you superb customer service with our commitment to accuracy. You can call us anytime at 1-800-528-4513. Thank you again for sharing RJL Systems' commitment to accuracy. Please call us at any time if you have questions about your device, software, or proper protocol. Thank you on behalf of all of us here at RJL Systems.